1. TF2 has the retry console command. It reconnects you to the server you're currently on. And as it turns out, servers are allowed to instruct your computer to use this command. And as you can get. There's two major parts to this. 1. TF2 has the retry console command. It reconnects you to the server you're currently on. And as it turns out, servers are allowed to instruct your computer to use this command. And 2. It's possible to detect when the server crashes and make it do one last thing before it passes out. So in theory, couldn't we make it tell everyone to reconnect just before it dies, so players are automatically brought back into the server when it comes back, making crashes much less disruptive and much more seamless? To players, it will look like the server just randomly changed maps in the middle of a game, but that's vastly better than making players go open the server browser, find the server, and manually reconnect. But would this actually work? Yes, and surprisingly, it wasn't that hard. Microsoft wants people to make cool things for Windows, so as part of that, they take care of some tedious parts involved with making cool things. One example of this is crashes. They provide a bunch of pre-written generic code to deal with programs crashing that programmers can plop into whatever they're working on. We hooked TF2 up to it, and it worked immediately. We can detect crashes and tell everyone to reconnect. But crashing isn't the only form of disruption that happens with a TF2 server. It can also freeze. It's not a proper crash since the server didn't die, but the server has stopped running code and processing data. What now? The solution we implemented was to make the server send a "I'm alive" every tick. Then, if it has been 7 ticks since we last heard from the server, we force every player to reconnect and restart the server. And that's it. That's how you, air quotes, have a server that never crashes. As far as I'm aware, this has always been possible, but a huge problem was if TF2 could restart quickly enough. The game gives reconnects roughly 25 seconds to happen before it gives up and shows you an error. The server can restart in about 10 to 15 seconds, which makes this work. But why stop at crashing? You can use this general idea to secretly restart the server as well. As a TF2 server runs, it will slowly collect memory, increasing in memory usage. If memory usage passes 4 gigabytes, it will crash no matter what. The 100-player server memory leaks to 4 gigabytes in about 27 hours. So what do? Easy. You restart the server every day at 6 AM when it's empty. Except when I first released the video, the server was completely full at every hour of the clock, so that's where secret restarts would have been useful. On Halloween update release, which was also the day I posted the video, the update had broken the item data of a taunt, which made the server randomly crash a few times before Valve fixed it. Sometimes crashes are entirely out of their control, so the crash plugin would have been very cool to have back then as well. The server has now stabilized from all the update crashing, but there's always future updates, so it's good to have it there as a safety net.
To this point where he couldn't figure out where to fix the code, so he just like, okay, I'm just not gonna
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about more Team... Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about more Team Fortress 2. Now, October, usually you'd be talking about Scream Fortress, and while Scream Fortress did drop and it had some bugs and they're fixed pretty quickly, I made a video previously about the zombie game mode. Another patch came out, I want to say 2 days ago. I was a little busy that day, so I didn't notice, and we got a couple fixes here. A lot of vague words, obviously, like every time we have cleaned up some waste, don't really know what that means. Lost coverage program for red team, pumpkin bombs on a couple maps. Just, the regular stuff, fixing some bugs and some, just fixing up some maps that were added to the game that aren't completely fully done. So I skimmed through this. Like, I was busy that day, so I skimmed through this today, and I noticed something that kind of made me upset. Something that I didn't know was an issue, and something that I think is going to hurt the game a lot, especially in its current state, and I'll get more into that in a second. So, what Valve has done is, obviously, besides all the other fixes, what caught my attention was this line right here, fixed using the extend freeze client command to continue spectating enemy players after being killed. Hey, this is editor Nlog. I just wanted to make a clarification I noticed when editing this video. The bug fix says that it prevented you from spectating enemy players. You could never do that in a TF2 casual server. That is not what extend freeze did. I don't know why it's written out like that. Whoever fixed the issue clearly has very little knowledge on what extend freeze is actually capable of. Now, to many of you, that will mean nothing. Extend freeze was a command that you would use, and it would extend your respawn time. So after you die, as any class really, you have a respawn time as different classes and maps. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into it, but basically, there's a timer, right? You die as heavy, 10 seconds, you respawn. You could bind a button to this command in the console, and you could extend your respawn time. Now, why would you want to do that? Why would anyone ever want to do that? Why would you want to, wait longer to respawn? The reason being, and the reason why I used it and many people used it, is Team Fortress 2 is an old game, and it runs Valve Anti-Cheat, VAC as it's called. VAC does not work anymore. VAC doesn't do anything barely unless you have the worst cheats on the planet. And so modern day scripts and script kiddies decide to use, modern day scripts. Nobody's using LaMaubox anymore. This is 2023. So most of the time, if there's a cheater in the game, they'll just be able to cheat because the game's old. Valve hasn't maintained its security, and it's a problem on Valve's other titles as well. I know Counter-Strike has, a lot less cheaters than it used to. It still has a bit of an issue with it, especially with Counter-Strike 2. But Team Fortress 2 being as left in the dirt as it is, has way bigger of a problem for it. So one of the ways to get rid of cheaters was, thankfully, Team Fortress 2, unlike a lot of many multiplayer games, has a vote kick system, and you can vote people out. Obviously, you all probably know that. But in order to vote people out, you need to really convince everyone on your team that somebody is cheating. Tony Allen, I think it was, made a giant video, a big old video, big kahuna of a video I recommend you watch on how to deal with script kiddies in your game and how to get them removed so that everyone can play a nice, fair, casual game of Team Fortress 2. One of the strategies to determine if someone was actually cheating, because sometimes someone's just really good at sniper, or whatever class they're playing. Sometimes you just get unlucky with people. One of the ways to determine was to spectate them, and with this extend freeze command, you could spectate by extending your respawn time. And when you're respawning, you can click through players, go in the first person, and all that. This was a way to spy on somebody and check if they were cheating. In Tony Allen's video, he said that sometimes they'll even turn their software off if you're spying on them, and then you spy on them long enough to where they're forced to play the game without using cheap software to get them easy kills. So this was a good thing for the community to use. Now, I don't know how it could have been an issue. I think the only way is if there was a spy or something you saw in spectate, but that, because you could spectate the whole map, but that wasn't even a massive issue. I think the showing a spy's outline when you respawn was a bigger problem, but I didn't hear too many complaints about this. So instead of fixing the cheating problem, instead of fixing the bot problem, whoever is working on Team Fortress has decided to remove the ability to do this, and it makes me very angry, and it probably makes a multitude of other people very angry. This is not, we didn't need this fixed, or at least not to my knowledge, and I don't know how many of these are community fixes. I don't know what is the point of this patch aside from the maps, but the spectate thing was not an issue, and because no one has caught it really, I've not seen anyone talk about it on many social media platforms that I've been on these past 2 days. I checked and no one seems to be noticed this. I thought I'd make a video. If you go to the discussion, which is, if you don't know, there's this very useless button on Steam to discuss an update, and there are very few people actually discussing the extend freeze. There are a couple people. There's a couple pages of comments. This guy has a lot to say. He also put frickin' Zesty Jesus' video for some reason. I don't know why that's there. But yeah, why Valve? I don't want to saying Valve when referring to Team Fortress 2's development always sounded weird to me. Valve doesn't touch this game anymore. It's like two people at Valve. You don't refer to Gabe Newell when Team Fortress 2 isn't working. He forgot it exists. He wouldn't know what you're talking about. So I want to say the people that are working on Team Fortress 2, this is a bad change, and I hope that you revert it. I know I'm talking on deaf ears. I'm speaking to a brick wall, but it's not ideal. Nobody had too much issue with the respawn time extension. In fact, I didn't even know it was a thing until like a month or two ago when I started using it. So it wasn't a big enough issue for me to have even known about it. Well, granted, a lot of these things aren't issues for me to have known about it. A lot of bug fixes or fixing stuff on the developer side, map makers and all that people don't know about, but this was not a big problem, and I'm sure many people can agree, and I wish Valve, I gotta stop saying Valve, it's not them. I wish whoever works on this game would revert this change and understand why this was a poor decision. This is not benefiting the game in any way, and now we have one less tool to deal with children that buy a script online. In the easiest first-person shooter I have ever played. Anyway, I know that was a short video. I don't really have ideas for videos right now. Yeah, I don't really have any ideas for Team Fortress 2 videos anytime soon, but I appreciate you stopping by. I know this was kind of just an update thing. I know Tyler McVicker could have done this, or literally any other person on the planet, and I'm sure someone else has. I looked, but I didn't see any. But thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more Team Fortress 2 content, leave a like down below. That's all I know. And if you want to, just see generally videos from me, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Have a good day. Goodbye.
If you've ever tried to play piano, I bet one of these 4 problems happened to you.
I have been surviving in my one-block world for more than 1,000 days now. And if you don't know what a one-block world is, let me quickly explain. I have been surviving in my one-block world for more than 1,000 days now. And if you don't know what a one-block world is, let me quickly explain. Imagine you spawn into a new world and all of a sudden all the blocks around you disappear, except the one you spawned on. That's pretty much it. And no, before you ask, if I break the block down below me, another one does not automatically spawn. That would end the challenge pretty fast. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. You might already be able to guess what I've planned for this episode, seeing as where I am. But basically we're at the Wandering Trader farm, and if you watched the last episode, you know that we need some items for the end portal duper, and basically that's what I'm gonna attempt to get this episode. Hey, let's go. Please have something of value. Useless, 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 useless. And okay. I mean, that's not bad. That's one of the 3 things we need. I don't know. Orange dye, maybe? When a Wandering Trader spawns, it resets the clock. So that means in 20 minutes or 1 Minecraft day, the chance of another one spawning is only 2.5%. But if I wait 3 days, then it should go back up to 7.5%, which is the max. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Another one just spawned. Useless.
2,000 years later.
Let's see if he has anything useful. Brown mushrooms. It seems that actually we do need red mushrooms, so it's not as useful as I think. Very long since the last one, so this one has something better than the brown mushroom. And he doesn't. He has red sand though. Saplings. Another Wandering Trader spawn? No way. Please have red mushrooms. Oh, that's pointed dripstone. That's actually so good. Yes, sir. Oh, I don't have any emeralds on me though. So obviously the reason we need pointed dripstone is for renewable lava. Go back here and get some emeralds. I'm sure I have some somewhere. So pointed dripstone is actually not that important to get a lot of because it's renewable. The next thing I think we're gonna do is build a lava farm. It's gonna be a pretty primitive one, since we only have 1 lava source, I think. Well, we might have 2 actually if we use the one over at the cobblestone farm. Let's build it over here by the thingy. And them up here. Then we build snow like this. So I might as well just steal the lava from here until we have a bit more. I know that it's only source blocks that are able to generate lava, but yeah, this should work. So now it's just a matter of waiting. I'm not even making this up. It already filled up. I just saw it from the corner of my eye that it already filled up. It hasn't even been a minute. I don't think, maybe like 30 seconds or something like that since the last clip. Damn, I'm pretty sad I didn't get that on video. That was crazy. I actually wonder how much time it takes on average for one of these to fill up. It's not like when it fills up with water that there's like different stages. It just like, it's either completely empty or completely full. There's no in between. That's crazy. I'm gonna AFK a bit more until when they freeze since the last Wandering Trader, and yeah, in a bit. Okay, so I finally removed the portal cell around the end portal, and now we just need to get the items in order to build the gravity block duper. I'm gonna start collecting those. I have a list of the items we need, and yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. The main way of getting redstone now is through trading with villagers, so we no longer have to kill witches for them, which is a huge upgrade. Okay, so I think we have everything we need to build the sand duper here. So we can head over there now and gathered a bunch of different materials here. I'm gonna make the entrance to the nether portal into like a cave sort of thing. Okay, so this is gonna be the nether portal. And when you go through here, click this switch, and then it should work. Wait, let me wire this up to show you. So let me show you the new sand duber that I made. So once you go through the portal now, you come out on the other side, and you're basically in this cave. Thought it would look good to have a bit of vegetation down here as well. And the sand duber is basically down here. So once you flick the lever, the sand dubing starts. Let's test it out for like 10 seconds or something. It's pretty quick, as you can see. If you want to know what's happening, basically sand is being pushed into the portal, but it's being retracted at the same time. So some of it lands on this block, and some of it goes through the portal, and it basically duplicates. So you can see we got all that sand within like 15 seconds or whatever it was. And I could add a chunk loader to the overworld, and then it would be loaded while I'm standing here collecting the sand. But I think just AFKing for like 5 minutes would give us enough sand for almost a lifetime. So maybe when we come a bit further in our world, but yeah, I think that's a really good step in the right direction. Guys, it's me from the future, and I just wanted to say that if you enjoy this sort of content, you should really consider subscribing. It's free and it helps me out a lot, and you can always unsubscribe again if you change your mind in the future. Also, I have a Discord, and I'll link that at the top of the description. Alright, so I was just about to trade with some villagers when it occurred to me that it's actually really tedious to get emeralds, and because everyone knows that you're not actually supposed to trade with villagers in order to get emeralds, but you're supposed to make a raid farm, since it's 2023 and that's what everyone does. I think that should be our next step on our agenda, and in order to do that we need to get the bad omen effect somehow. Luckily we do have the outlines of structures in our world, so we can find a pillager outpost and hopefully make some of the pillagers spawn there. I've actually never designed a raid farm by myself before, and I don't believe that this is going to be the first time, so I'm actually going to use someone else's design, and I'm pretty sure that you all know which design it is. It's of course ENX04's. I'm going to link it down in the description if you want to build it in your own world. But yeah, I think it's a really good idea to make that. Also, we get infinite redstone and infinite glowstone, which is a pretty cool light source, and redstone is just really useful in general for all of the buildings that I make. So in order to build a raid farm, we actually needed a bunch of different things. In order to get the bad omen effect, as I explained, we need to find a pillager outpost, and the way I did this was just flying around in my world, and I have a mod called Mini Hut which allows me to see the outlines of structures, and I could just fly around, and I think it took me like 3 or 4 hours in order to find my first pillager outpost. And during the search I actually found a jungle biome, and a jungle biome is really useful because it's the only biome that you can fish in order to get bamboo. And that's the only way I have of obtaining bamboo in my entire world. So I set up a quick platform here, and I fished for some bamboo, which I used for creating scaffolding, which made the process of building the raid farm a lot easier. It did take me a little while to get the initial bamboo, but after I got the first piece, it took no time to get a lot of it, which you can just bone meal it. Anyways, let's go back to searching for that villager outpost. Once again, it took me a couple of hours, but I finally found a real village outpost that we can use in order to get the bad omen effect. So as you can see, there's actually a lace here, which I hadn't planned of. I actually had no idea that we even could get a lace in this world. I hadn't even planned out for it, but I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, I started building a platform here, so we could start getting the bad omen effect. So as you can see here, the green box here is the outline for the village outpost, and I just placed the grass blocks within here, and as you can see, pillagers are already spawning, so it goes by pretty fast. and I just stand down here at my platform, wait a couple of seconds, and then I fly back up, and hopefully there's one with a banner. At least that's the plan. So, let's see if we can catch one spawning. Right, you just have to trust me. So as you can see, the raid farm actually generates a pretty decent amount of loot, and we definitely don't need any more emeralds than we have here. We also have the best thing in the world, which is redstone, which is going to be so nice. We have a bunch of that now. We also have a bit of gunpowder, which is pretty useful for, what's it called, rockets. Also, glowstone might be a pretty nice light source to have in the future. So the next step on our plan is actually to make a slime farm. I want to have a slime farm and a honey farm, because sometime in the future I want to make a tree farm, and for the leaf crusher of the tree farm we actually need both of those. However, in order to make a slime farm we also need a magma farm for the magma blocks, and we also need an ice farm, because we want to transport items with ice blocks. So I think I'm gonna get started on those two right now. So real fast, I just made a wither rose farm. It's a pretty fun design and it uses snow golems. Again, it's made by ENX04. That man is a genius. Anyways, now I have enough wither roses for the long future. And in order to create the magma cream farm I also needed a lot of obsidian. Luckily that's no problem, since we now have a beacon as well from the wither rose farm. Everyone knows that the best way to make any sort of farm is just to spam portals, so that's what I did. I think that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. We made a lot of progress, to say the least, and I've already made a lot more progress, so you have to do in the next episode. Anyways, see you guys later.